Welcome to the Wealth Matters podcast, where investors come together to better understand how to build passive cash flow and create generational wealth without all the confusing mumbo-jumbo. Here's your host and co-author of Amazon #1 bestseller, Alpesh Pamar.
Welcome to Wealth Matters podcast. I am going to talk to Mr. Hanson today. Hans is a national college advisor. He is working with families and colleges from every state in the country. He saves parents tens of thousands on college costs. He turns people's dream into reality. His approach is taking the logical approach to college, not the typical approach. So welcome, Hans.
Well, welcome to you. It's a great honor to be here on your podcast. So thank you very much.
No, I appreciate that. Tell us something interesting or funny about yourself.
All right. Well, I'd like to introduce you to my best friend. Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
All right. My best friend right here. Oopsie. My bass guitar.
Oh.
My best friend. It's right here, ready access, and I'm going to share a quick story. The story is this. It was 2 years ago. I was sitting in the dental chair. My hygienist always asks me some interesting questions. So I'm sitting there with things in my mouth, and she asked me, Hans, is there anything about your life that you've missed out on? And I said, well, I'm sure probably I've missed out on a few things, but I know this. When I come back in my next life, I'm coming back as a bass player.
Ah.
She said to me, Hans, you might not want to wait until then. I go, oh my gosh. And in a month's time, I bought my first bass. In 4 months' time, I started taking lessons. Since then, I have 5 basses and 4 amps. And I've played in 3 concerts, and I have a concert next Saturday. We're playing Fleetwood Mac music next Saturday afternoon.
No way. And how long ago was this?
It just started like a year and a half ago.
That's crazy, man. Now you are telling me that I need to start because I always want to play guitar. That's like one of my dream.
Well, see, it was my dream for all these years. And it took my dental hygienist to say, you might not want to wait until then. And it's, oh my God. And I'll tell you, it's the most amazing thing. This is my 5th bass, the one I shared with you.
Wow.
And each time, the basses cost more. And each time the amp got bigger. So now I'm sitting over here with a beautiful 500-watt amp and a beautiful bass guitar. And I just love it.
That's awesome. Hey, Hans, so do you invest in anything and what kind of assets do you invest in?
Yeah, let's say that there's 2 kinds of investments. One is, let's say, standard financial investments, and I've earned a good income all my life, and I've had the classic balanced stock portfolio. So I've had that going for 30 years. So you know that over the course of 30 years, there's been some big run-ups and some big falls. And run-ups are always nice. The big falls are very painful.
Nasty.
Yeah, they are nasty. Yep. And they at least for me, they affect the way I think. So, but over the course of time, it tends to work out okay. But the other investment I make is in myself. This is what I believe, and this is what I teach and coach and mentor. If you want to be better at something, you have to be willing to invest time, energy, emotion, and money. 4 things. Nice. Time, energy, emotion, and money. You invest those 4 things in yourself to be better, you'll get better. So with the bass, I don't care what it costs or how much time. I'm investing my energy and my emotion. I'm deeply emotionally attached to it. To the performances and working with other band members. So I'm always investing in myself through time, energy, effort, and money.
That's awesome. So let's talk about college because you focus on helping others save thousands in colleges, right? What are the most common mistakes people make in their college approach?
Yeah, let's identify like an everyday mistake, a strategic mistake, and a tactical mistake. So the everyday basic mistake is people wait. They just wait and wait and wait.
Right.
They know it's coming,
Mm-hmm.
but they wait and really hope that somebody else jumps in and takes care of their child for them. Well, that never works.
Yeah, so
And-
weight is a problem with everything we do in life, right? Like as you said, the guitar means I'm waiting, right? Investment. A lot of people talk to me. Some of my friends have asked me for advice 2, 3 years ago, and I asked them right now, did you buy a house or rental property? No, we are waiting for the price to drop. So weight is a big problem for everyone.
yeah, well, indecision or inaction is a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it's costly in every one of our businesses, very much so in your business and also in the college business. Now, speaking of that, here's an interesting one. The strategic mistake people make, since you mentioned buying a house, is if you were going to buy a house a year and a half from now, wouldn't you have a budget for it? Wouldn't you
Right.
know how much you're willing to pay and how much you can pay on a monthly
Yes.
basis? However, people get to within 3 months of sending their child to college. They don't have a budget. Alpeach, I can ask 100 people in a seminar, what is your budget for college costs? And not one person will like raise their hand. They'll all sit there and say, oh, we don't have one. How do you don't walk on a car dealership without a budget.
Right. Right.
We don't even go out to dinner without a budget, do we? If we
No.
go out to dinner, we know how much we're willing to spend.
Yeah, of course.
And we know what we want in return. So I don't mind paying $18 for a really good cheeseburger. It just better be good. The
Right.
bacon better be
Right.
crisp,
Right.
right? All those things. People will pay $300,000 for college without doing any of those things. And then the tactical mistake is people fall right in line with the college wishes. They randomly visit colleges. They sign up for tours. They show up outside the admission office. Then a graduate student comes and leads them around the campus, telling them what the colleges
What
want
they
them to
want you to hear, right?
Yep.
So
And-
I think what I was actually going to is this how colleges take control of the process?
It is by design, through the admission office, which is like the upfront sales and marketing
Yeah.
function of the college. Hey, this is the deal, Alpeach. Over the last 20 years, colleges know they've studied parent behavior forever, right?
Right.
They have known in the last 20 years to invest in student appeal,
Mm,
not student outcomes.
right.
So then when families unsuspectingly walk on a campus, sign up for a tour because they were told to do that, and then they get shown around, they're being led around to what is appealing to the student. And they know that parents buy college emotionally. I would bet that you advise your clients do not be emotional buyers of big ticket items.
Right. Of course.
You want to be an emotional buyer of a cheeseburger, go ahead and spend the $20.
Yeah.
Don't be an emotional buyer of a home or college, because when they do it with college, it's the emotion that they have attached to their child. And
Right.
colleges know that if they get the child to love what they see, oh, look at the gourmet pizzas in the cafeteria, then the parents are ready to throw
Yeah.
the money at it.
What can then parents do differently to get the control back?
Well, see, that's a great question. It leads right into this. Imagine a family driving up to a college. Let's just say they're a mile away from the campus and they have their child with them. So typically what parents are doing is telling their kids how much they're saying, isn't this exciting? Isn't this beautiful?
Right, right.
It'd be great. You got to throw all that out the window. Parents need to ask themselves one question. Do I want to do business with this college for the next 4 years?
Business. Okay.
Yeah. Do I want to do business with them? Get away from the hype and focus on outcomes. Here's the problem. And it should be simple, but it's not. If you focus on outcomes, then you're focusing on your child. If you're focusing on the hype, the prestige, the rankings, you're focusing on yourself. And that's what parents like to do. Colleges know that about parents, and they will pay to get it.
That's a great point you mentioned, and it got me thinking right now that yes, when I was a kid, when I was going to college, I wanted to go to certain college, right? And when I'm a parent, I'm always thinking, oh, my daughter should go to Stanford or UPenn or this and that, or Carnegie Mellon or whatnot, right? So you're right. It's about the prestige and not thinking about, the
Which
long
means
term.
it's about them. Kids
Yes.
don't care. Kids don't care about prestige. And I think the old time 2,000 year ago definition of prestige is deception. Think about that. And then you think about what the colleges have done for 20 years. And I'm not bashing colleges, but this
Right.
is what they have created because they know parents will buy it.
Right.
That has to change, but it won't change from the colleges until the parents make it change. And
Oh,
the
yeah,
parents
yeah.
are not inclined to make a change.
Consumers have to change their behavior. Yeah, of course.
Yep. And until they do, colleges like now, costs continue to escalate
Right. Ooh.
at incredible amounts. Alpeach, there are colleges that are almost just about to hit $90,000 a year.
Wow. Wow.
COVID-19 did not slow that down at all.
Right.
Parents had their opportunity last summer and they fumbled the ball
Right. Yeah.
again.
Oh, that's very interesting. So, did anything change with COVID-19? Because I thought, a lot of students would be home. They will study online, and colleges may reduce fees because they don't have all the expenses around. So nothing changed, huh?
Well, when we look back, let's say 10 years from now, we look back. Well, we're going to hear people's stories. Oh, I had to stay home. I had to do it online. I didn't like it. We missed out on the fun. But, and I bet you'll say the same about your business. What didn't work 10 years ago, hoping, waiting, and wishing, but didn't work, indecision, inaction, what didn't work 10 years ago doesn't work today, and it won't work 10 years from now. What did work 10 years ago, which is building relationships. This is a relationship building contest. It was 10 years ago, it is today, and it continues. It'll be this way 10 and 20 years from now. The stories of 2020 and 2021 will be stories, but we're not going to, and we will always see online studies. So that they're never going away.
Yeah.
And I live in the Northeast, in snow country. There should never again be a snow day where it snows.
Right.
Kids out of school. No, it's a stay at home online.
Online,
school day.
yes. Yeah, you don't have to be.
So those
Makes
are
sense.
some shifts, and you will see colleges, or some colleges, not the top elite 100 colleges, but you start to get into the mid-level colleges, and they have to adjust their business model to start to focus on being a job resource center, not trying to appeal to students' likings. Become a job research center, focus on outcomes. We're going to see several hundred colleges in the next 5 years be more centrally focused on outcomes and providing resources to help kids get jobs and also streamline them to getting jobs. That will be the core benefit proposition of many colleges, not the top 100, but like the next 600 or 700 after the top 100, to get kids jobs, streamline it, lower the cost, lower the time it takes, and increase and improve upon their entry into the workplace.
That's awesome. So what are some of the unique advantages that you help students gain?
Well, because I look at this. Now, remember, CollegeLogic taking the logical approach, not the typical approach. The logical approach is to look at this as a relationship building contest. Now, it's not typical.
What do you mean by relationship building contest?
It's not so much a talent or skill contest.
Okay.
It is building relationships with key decision makers within in the admissions office. The people deciding in the admissions office could be in the financial aid office if you expect financial aid. If you want to be an athlete, it's in the athletic offices. Okay. And the one thing that's missed by 999 out of every 1,000 people who visit a college is they don't go and meet the people in their child's intended study program. So in other words,
yes,
business, you got to go to the business school. If you're going to be in health sciences, go to the health science department. If you want to do engineering, go to the engineering department, because when you do that, now you're starting to focus on outcomes. So you start to build relationships. When you build relationships with these people, you leave the college with a much clearer understanding of two things. Number one, how they do business. And number two, what your real opportunity is. So we need to understand and real opportunity, decipher real opportunity from the false fronts that everybody hears on tours. Alpish, the greatest fake news item, I think, in America is this idea that at every college during the tour, the tour guide announces that the college has 90% job placement rate. Every college says that. And Alpish, I'll go on the record right now that there's not one college in the country now or ever who had anywhere close to a 90% job placement rate.
Wow.
And I'll further say this. There's not one college who tracks it. So I would suggest to the people, next time you hear them say there's a 90% job placement rate, ask them, well, how do you track that? I don't see any departments here or resources being allocated to job placement, because you know darn well, the first call you get from the college after you graduate is from the Alumni Association wanting more money. It's not somebody who's checking in to see if you got a job or what they can do to help you get a job. So we have to understand in the Department of Study what's going to happen over the 4 years to get internships, research assignments, study abroad opportunities, job interviews. Who's going to do that, and how is it going to happen? So that's why it's building relationships. Can you imagine you can go spend 4 years at a college right now? You're going to, let's just say, send your child, spend 4 years. They're going to spend 4 years in that Department of Study. And you're going to make a decision about your child's college, 4 years, 1,000 days on a campus. And you make that decision and you haven't even met one person in the Department of Study that's going to interact with your child for 4 years.
Right.
So see, it makes logical sense. Would you agree that you should go meet these people?
Oh, absolutely. It's you're opening my eyes right now.
Yeah. So when I share that with people, it becomes it's logical, but it's 1 out of 1,000 now, Peach. People are making decisions, spending tens of thousands of dollars, and they're focused on student appeal, not outcomes. That is why the unemployment rate of college graduates for the last 5 years is so high. It's so high, nobody's publishing the number.
Really?
I'll say this from what I understand, and I believe it. There's an 80% unemployed underemployment.
Ooh, wow, wow. After paying so much money and spending 4, 5 years in the college, right?
They
Wow,
come home
that
and live at home. And hey, we love our baristas at the coffee shop, but you don't need to go to college to get to
to get,
become.
yeah, to get a barista degree, right?
Yeah, yep. So we need to get people to change the way they look at. That's my job always, outpatient, is get people to look at college differently and approach it differently. Do I want to do business at this college? What are the anticipated outcomes? Not because a graduate student just spits out 90% job placement rate.
Right.
When somebody says, I heard them say 90% job placement rate, you know what I always ask? How did it make you feel when you heard that? And every parent will say, it made me feel that the college is worth it.
Right, of course.
Yeah. So that's exactly what the college wanted. Now
Yeah.
you're ready to pay.
Yeah, yeah. So when is it too early or too late for starting the college process? Is it when the kid is in sophomore, or
Well, the
when do you
ideal
think?
time is ninth or 10th grade, when you can
Okay.
look ahead and you can plan out your high school schedule to have AP classes, to have the right courses lined up. And you also have time to line up other activities. Might be a blog site, you might want to join or launch a nonprofit organization. So you have time to do these things if you get involved early enough. Typically, fathers are thinking about this. Sometimes by the time the kid is born, the dad's already thinking about it. So in your case, with Wealth Matters, if a parent is thinking about this and their kids are in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they need to be taking measures then to make sure that the high school path works out properly. In terms of the college process itself, it's ideally second half of 9th grade, first half of 10th grade. When families come to me, we're always going to get the best outcomes. And here's the real problem with the college process that parents don't think about. It's like the movie The Wizard of Oz. You remember the Wicked Witch of the West has that clock and turns it upside down, and time is going by. People time out in this process. They're not thinking about it. They're not thinking that there's a deadline coming up.
Right.
Time out of it. And when you give up time, then you can't get it back. And you compromise the experience and you compromise the outcomes, and it costs you a lot of money when you just wait and allow time to go by.
That's great. So you mentioned about, like, let's say blog site or a nonprofit. Do any of those help with admissions or even getting financial aid?
Not financial aid, admissions and scholarships, yes.
Okay.
Hey, I have a student at USC right now in a $70,000 scholarship package. $70,000 a year out of $75,000.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
She launched a non-for-profit organization when she was a sophomore in high school related to her field of study.
Okay.
And that website, that nonprofit organization is called futurefrogmen.org, and it's thriving today, 5 or 6 years later. Now, she's not directly involved in it today, even though she sits on the board.
Yeah.
But she launched it, and so that got her a huge scholarship. That and a couple other things that she did. But none of it. Financial aid is a whole nother subject. So
yeah.
But if we think about scholarships, yes, those things matter. But what it does to me, Alpesh, is it gets me to get the kids to have a vision,
right,
have a focus, look ahead.
That's
what do you
true.
see going on in this world? Where can you help? I have a young man who started a non-for-profit organization in Hartford, Connecticut. He's raising money for entry-level barbers, minority barbers coming in he's raising money to help them build a shop. Right now he's working with helping 10 barbers launch their own business.
That's awesome.
This is a 16-year-old doing this.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Now, I don't care if he raises $2,000 or $30,000 or $50,000. That doesn't matter. He's thinking. He's involved. He's engaged. That's what we have to get from these kids. So these tools are not tools, Alpesh, just to get admissions, acceptances, or scholarships. The tools to get the kids engaged in life with a vision going forward and an ability or a platform for them to express themselves.
This is great. I enjoyed it so much. I was just listening. You opened my eyes. So let's take a quick break. And after the break, we'll go through the same 5 questions I ask every guest.
You're listening to the Wealth Matters Podcast. The Wealth Matters Podcast. For more info about what we do, check us out at wealthmatters.com. It's wealth, WEALTH, matters, MATRS.com.
Welcome back to Wealth Matters Podcast. Hans was throwing some golden nuggets right here. So thank you, Hans, for doing that. Are you ready for fire round?
I am. You bet. PowerPoints. That's what I call these things. Power punches, PowerPoints. Boom.
Let's go. Would you be changing any business or investment strategy after this pandemic is over?
No, because life is not it's not a rush. It's not a sprint. This is a storyline. It's a huge storyline in our lives, but still, everything that you have learned in your life still applies today. We learn from our experiences and we adjust, right? So that's fine. But here's the one point I would make, and I discuss this with kids all the time. Don't let this be an excuse for poor performance or underperformance. It may be a reason that things were tough, but nobody cares about excuses.
Right.
Is why you underperformed. So the one thing that is always the case, you have to be proactive. You have to be involved. You have to get ahead and stay ahead. Just like in a football game, everybody wants to get out to a 20-point lead because you win a lot more games when you do it. The same applies right now. Our strategy every year is to get out to a 20-point lead and play from ahead and win in the end.
That's great. Favorite real estate, finance, or business book?
Oh, man. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, yes.
I've modeled my entire business approach after this book.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've read it a handful of times. I love it because it applies. It applies in your work. It applies in mine. Habit number 1, be proactive. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind.
Right.
How do you want this to turn out? Then
That's
habit
the
number
key.
3, put first things first.
Yes.
Take care of things when they are important and don't let them become urgent. We live in a society that people wake up every day with urgency, and they spend their time on urgencies. They're detracted from anything that's important.
Right.
Stephen Covey says, why don't people spend more time on things that are important? And the answer is because they're not urgent.
Right. That's true.
So when we think about an approach to wealth management or college, we have to get people thinking about what's important. I always ask kids and parents too, but kids, what's most important to you? I don't ask them for a response immediate. I give them a week to think about it. Come back to me with an email or a call. What's most important to you? Simple questions, but tough answers.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's a simple question for sure. Any tool or website you recommend?
Well, naturally. I have a Facebook group called College Clarity Facebook group. Yeah, sure, I recommend that because I post interesting articles, relevant articles about college, about careers, about jobs, about scholarships, about athletic recruiting, whatever it is. I post top quality content in there. And I'm the resource. I have all the scripts and templates. My process, like Stephen Covey, is highly structured with the scripts and the templates. And anybody who I wind up speaking with winds up with scripts and templates for emails or questions to ask on a college visit, things like that. So that's a little self-serving, that response, but it's how I feel.
That's great. Any advice for beginner investors?
Be willing to start small. Don't wait. Don't wait until you think it's enough money. Start small. Have patience when you least want to.
Right.
Now, I can't do that. It's easy for me to recommend it to somebody else, but yeah, we have to have patience when we least want to. And from a wealth management standpoint, Alpesh, people need to make you, let's say, their partner. People need the wealth manager to be a partner in their life, not just look at it as a service. That the wealth manager needs to be a partner. Choose somebody that you trust and you feel right about in terms of partnering with them, where they truly understand your situation and your goals and your interests.
That's awesome. How do you give back?
Well, I always have a few non-paid students. So I work with some wealthy families. I work with some single moms that are unemployed. I have families who have become unemployed through COVID. If they come to me and they have a student that has deep internal passion for getting ahead, I will always make room for them. So that's one little thing. Of course, I do free educational webinars, but on an for organizations, things like that. But here's my deal, Alpesh. I wake up every day, every single day, with purpose and intention to share or to inspire or to motivate people, anybody, motivate, inspire people to take ownership of their life, internalize. It's just a constant thing of mine. And I think that in every situation I enter, I have that in mind, the purpose and intention to inspire and motivate people to take ownership of their life. People need that more today than ever before. I mean, people have always needed it, probably for 1,000 years, but more now than ever. They need to take ownership of their outcome. And I'm just a phone call away from inspiring and motivating people to do that. I'm not somebody that they can call and expect me to feel sorry for them. I want to understand their situation, but I have to motivate and inspire them to take action. That's the best work we can do, Alpesh, is to motivate, inspire people to take proper action.
That's great. How can my listeners reach out to you?
Well, hey, thanks for asking. My business is called CollegeLogic. My website is mycollegelogic.com. My email is my first name, Hans, H-A-N-S, at mycollegelogic.com. Join my College Clarity Facebook group. Send me a note. I'm here for you. I'm here to help people. I take it serious. What you said in the intro, I turn kids' dreams into reality. That's my mission in my work. Without outside excuses or circumstances holding them back, get them to take ownership of their outcome, turning their dreams into reality. I'm happy to speak with anybody on how to do that.
That's great. Thank you so much, Hans. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, it's a great pleasure. Thank you. It's really an honor to be on your show, and a great pleasure speaking with you. You are inspiring and motivating yourself, and it's always fun to get together with you and chat about these things. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Wealth Matters podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes so others can enjoy the show too. Have a great week and happy investing!